Hey everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I am your host, Josiah, aka Mahler67. With me, as always, I got my buddy, I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about everyone out in the Twitch world, or if you're listening on YouTube, hi, um, we are available on YouTube now, so you can watch us if you want to catch up on episodes.
Yeah, Spotify
But
didn't
yeah,
work out. Spotify's
yeah,
having some issues. We used to upload to Spotify and then they just stopped accepting the episodes. They're like, there was an error occurred over and over, and every single time I did it, I'm like, you know what? I'm just uploading the video format anyways. Let's hop on over to YouTube. They can at least handle it.
yep, pretty much. How are you?
Hey, not terrible. I just took another nap. More of this. I have for the last 3 days consistently come home, not been able to stay awake, and then I just pass out. And then I wake up later and play some games, and then I pass out again. That has been my shtick for the last couple days. Not the worst thing in the world. Like, I'm able to do that. There's nothing stopping me from doing that as of now. I'm sure whenever I have like chores that needs to be done and everything of that sort, that will change. But for now, like I can just come home, do it, pass out, and be good. So I've been enjoying that.
Cool.
What about you? How's your week been, Austin?
It's been a little nervous wreck because I got midterms this week, so I'm constantly like, I had like 2 of them yesterday, and then I got 1 on Friday, and then I'm good for a while, and I haven't got my grade back on my first 2, so hopefully that's tomorrow I get those. I don't think I have a problem with them. So I think I'm fine. But it's always that worry of anticipation.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah. And then pretty much it. A movie that I've been wanting to watch for a long time finally came out on streaming. So I got to watch Iron Claw, and I thought it was phenomenal.
Good.
And that was pretty much all I've done this week, really. I haven't really done too much, celebrated Valentine's Day today with my wife. We watched.
Oh yeah, that is today.
Yeah. So, I got her flowers, the basic white girl stuff. The basic white girl stuff.
Okay.
But we ended up watching a movie that I haven't watched since I was like a child. And I was like, yeah, we'll watch it, and I tried to convince her to watch Old Yeller, but she was like, no, I know what that movie is. And I was like, yeah, it's weird that it was okay to shoot a dog on a kids show. But it was we watched Flubber with Robin Williams, and I forgot Clancy Brown was in that movie.
He's the security guard, right?
No, he's one of the like henchmen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's the security guard from
Shawshank.
Shawshank, thank you.
Yeah. And he's also Mr. Krabs, and he's in everything.
Oh.
So yeah, he's a huge voice actor. He was in Avatar too. I forget who he played in Avatar. It was like Fu. It was like trying to think of that Emperor. It wasn't the Emperor. It was like some other bad guy. But yeah, he's always in everything. Everyone, I know him from like, what's that called? Starship Troopers. He's that. But yeah, we got to watch Flubber tonight. Haven't watched that in a long time, so it was kind of interesting to watch that. And every like week, me and Sid usually sit down. We watch like a Disney movie, or we watch a movie together. So yeah, we kind of did that. So, but yeah, that was pretty much it. Ooh, I'm tired.
You sound tired. That's why I took a nap, so that way I couldn't be tired. No, that's crazy. Yeah, occasionally I'll think of Flubber, but I won't think of like the movie itself. I'll think of a little robot that he had. Like Weebo or something like that. I'll just think about that and how like whenever I was little, I thought that was the coolest thing ever, and I won something like that. Now I basically do in the form of my phone, except it doesn't float around and join me for things. But man, do I like it. And highly um disturbed about the ending of that movie more and more as time goes on, and the creepy idea that the robot fell in love with him, and so she created what she thought a child would look like between her and the doctor, and he just adopts it, and he's like, yeah, sure, yeah, this is totally okay.
What see, like, what's really funny is I thought about doing a video like about me rewatching movies that I haven't watched in a long time since I was a kid, and like be like, yeah, okay, this is you know, like I watched Batman Forever for the first time in a long time, and I watched it today because the guy I take care of, he was like, he plays this game called Os, and it's like it's a rhythm game. And it's like a huge rhythm game. Like I know like tons of people that love this. Like there's a huge community. Okay. And one day I was hanging out at his house, and I walked in, he was like, riddle me this, and I was like, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? And he was like, how'd you know that? And I was like, wait, what? Like I was like, do you know what that's from? And he's like, oh no, it's from an Os game. Like someone makes it the beginning of the song. And I was like, oh, that's from Batman Forever. So he was like, oh, did not know that. My webcam's getting a little crazy. But yeah, so I watched it with him today, and he was like, did you like this when you were a kid? And I was like, yes, I did. He goes, it's pretty goofy. And I said, yeah, it's extremely goofy as an adult, like going back and watching this. Especially as like a fan growing up. You know, I was just a little kid. I didn't know too much about the Riddler and stuff, but then later on now, I'm like, the Riddler doesn't act like that. And Tommy Lee Jones is not a good Two-Face either. Like, whoever directed that movie and wrote that movie just didn't really go into Batman comics.
They didn't care about the comics.
They didn't really care.
They just were like, well, who's Two-Face? Oh, Two-Face has two personalities. Oh, but he got to be zingy like the Riddler. Yeah. So he's basically the same thing as the Riddler, right? Yeah, except he flips a coin to make it weird. What about his normal side? Is the normal side normal? No, this normal side's also zingy. Ooh, he's zingy, all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's been kind of goofy, and like watching it, I remember there was a scene that cracks me up all the time, and it got brought up when we were watching it today, where he's like, holy rusted metal Batman, and my dude looks straight at me and he's like, what the heck was that? And I was like, Batman, Robin in the old like TV series had phrases like, you know, holy rusted metal Batman, or you know, holy Pajivas Batman. I was like, my favorite one's from Brought Chicken, but I'm not gonna say it on this podcast. Yeah, so like he watched it and he was like, this was really goofy, and I was like, you think that's bad? You should watch the sequel to that. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, that movie's considered like the worst superhero movie of all time. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. It's like Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. So yeah, it was interesting.
People talk a lot of crap on that one, that's for sure.
But I was thinking about doing that with Flubber too, because when I was watching Flubber, there was a lot of things that were goofy, and then just didn't make sense. I was like, wait, if he would do that, wouldn't those people like notice that? Like they're just, so a lot of people are just completely like,
oh, they're like, if
they
you're
overlook
not on screen,
everything.
Yeah, if you're not on screen, you don't matter.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's honestly a hilarious part about those old movies. They were before like critics and like internet reviewers and whatnot, before they sat there and looked at it. Like if we were around at that time, we'd be sitting there just making fun of the inconsistencies the whole time, which is basically what I do in most stuff whenever we talk. Is like I talk about the inconsistency and how that frustrates my brain, knowing full well that the things I enjoyed as I was a kid was super inconsistent and just honestly pretty poorly done.
Yeah.
So that's just how it works, how it lives.
Yeah.
Does your camera keep like moving and readjusting?
No, like if you look at the stream, you'll see it like from time to time, like it does this little fuzzy thing, like it looks like a bunch of lines a little bit, like here right now.
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah.
seen that for like months, and I just don't ever say nothing.
I
just
didn't know that
accept you
until
for
now.
who you are, Austin.
Oh, a broken camera. No,
A broken camera.
I'll probably. This camera has been around for 2015. So
Hey,
yeah, I
say
should
2,000 years. Austin.
2,000
I don't
years,
know if that's how.
100 years. But
It's been around for
past
nearly
all that,
200 years.
I say we're looking for fun, and we're gonna have the heebie-jeebies. So today, we did Cuphead. This was a show that I picked for you to
had
watch.
like a very solid entry, and then you just started like slowing
Completely
down, and then you just
forgetting.
stopped, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Well, we watched Cuphead." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, so we actually watched Cuphead. I asked you to watch this. It's available on Netflix.
Mhm.
What did you think of Cuphead?
What did
And-
I think of Cuphead? All right, so first off, I would say that this is not a show that I would naturally be pulled to, and I know why. But this is definitely a show that if a cousin or a kid wanted to watch, I would be completely down for it. It would be in the same realm of like, what was that?
The Mickey cartoon.
No, not Mickey. I never cared for the Mickey cartoons.
The one that the newest one that came out.
Oh yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
newest one I actually enjoy the humor of. Like
Yeah.
their comedy's pretty spot on. This show has comedy, and it has like good things. I have issues with the main characters more than anything. But like it's definitely a show like if like I was watching a kid, like I used to do back in high school whenever I would watch like our cousin, and he would be like, I want to watch X. If he's like, I want to watch Cup Show, I would be like, sure, let's watch it. I'm cool with that. I can sit here and watch it with you. I'm not over here scratching my eyes out like I did with Dora the Explorer growing up with watching them. I thought the show was fine. I thought the show had like its funny moments. It's definitely how do I put this exactly? It's like a weird thing, right? Because I look at it, I'm like, it's supposed to resemble like the old 19, I would say like 67. You remember those old VHSs we used to have of like Popeye and all those things?
Yep.
Where like you would watch it and you'd be like, yeah, this is funny. It's dated humor, but it's funny. This is more like not so dated humor, but done in a way to make it seem dated, because they're obviously trying to make it look more like a 1940s rubber band show, but it has like current day humor, especially whenever it comes to like for instance, whenever Mug breaks his handle, and the dad's like, the elder's like, oh no, I realized after I broke it, I was losing it, and I got my manhandle. It's like, I want manhandle too, and then it's like, you guys know what manhandle is. Like, you're purposely doing that because that's a joke that adults can laugh at. Kids don't fully understand. And I definitely watched this as I'm like, I don't think it's not like adult enough to make me think that this is like a well, it's definitely not like a Has-Been Hotel situation. It's much more like, it's like right on that fence level, like Gravity Falls-esque. Where adults can watch it and enjoy it, kids can watch it and enjoy it. I think the reason why I personally never really like jumped on the boat and went into it is because I'm not a fan of the Cuphead games. I can definitely see if you're a fan of the Cuphead games, you would have a more incline to like enjoy and watch the show, because I know I've seen a couple of the characters shown in this as like character or bosses, so I can definitely see people being like, oh yeah. And if you're of the right demographic, like the people who grew up on those Mighty Mouse cartoons and things like that, this show most likely hit those beats perfectly for you.
Oh yeah, they did.
And so, did I like it? Yeah, I thought it was fine. It's definitely not something that I personally would really jump into, and that's only because of Cuphead. Only because of Cuphead. Mugman or Mugboy or whatever his name is, Mugboy. He's fine. He's definitely the Luigi of the group, which is probably why I more relate with him. But Cuphead
is Charlie Day.
Yeah, he is
from Always Sunny. Yeah,
he is like stupid 80% of the time, and half the time when things go wrong, it's his fault. But then he drags Mugman into things.
Yeah,
and then it's like, is Mugboy better because he's getting dragged into this stuff, or is he just as bad because he's an idiot and allows himself to be dragged into this stuff? Like, it's a weird show. For the first, I would say, 5 episodes, I had a hard time watching it.
Yeah,
I was fine with it, like, but it was very episodic, which was fine. I enjoy episodic episodes, but episodic episodes work the best when you like the cast. Because I was not enjoying Cuphead, I was not enjoying those first episodes. Once it kind of transitioned out of the episodic and became more like they're still episodic, but they're like carrying a story. I think I started liking the show a little better, especially in the last half. So those are my initial thoughts of me, like, breaking down my thoughts and feelings about it. I had no issue with it. Like, kid wanted to watch it and I had to like watch them. Sure, pop that baby on, let's watch it, let's enjoy it. What did you think, Austin? Like, this was something you picked, obviously you must enjoy it enough to want to
so I'm a huge fan of the game. I remember watching the game preview when Xbox would have like their Xbox exclusive or whatever it was during EA or E3. So when E3 happened, I remember watching this trailer and I was like, dude, this looks cool. Like, this looks like a really cool shooter. What we didn't expect it to be like a Dark Souls of shooter games, like of platformings in a way. Like, a lot of people knew it was going to be that hard. And like, when I remember buying the game and being like, I'm so excited for Cuphead, and then I played it and was like, this is hard. This is really hard. And it reminded me of Mega Man back in the day. So I was like, I'm actually enjoying it. So I plowed through the whole game. I remember playing it on easy, and I was like, yeah, I beat the game. And then it was like, oh, by the way, you can't get to the last island because you played it on easy. You have to get all the soul contracts. So you have to go back and play all the bosses and get soul contracts. And I was like, oh, no. So I had to go back and play on medium. And then I was like, man, this is even 10 times harder. But I was like, oh, they're doing a show. Like, Netflix is doing a show. So I decided to watch it, give it a watch. And I enjoyed it because of at the first, I'm with you. I feel like season 1 is just like an introduction, and I do not like Cuphead sometimes because he's a little annoying about how, like, he starts a lot of the problems and then he drags everyone else into it. Until, like, you know, season 2 and 3, there's more people that's dragging problems into things. But the only thing that kept me watching was because I found out someone that I know was going to make an appearance, and he was playing one of my favorite bosses in the game. And I was like, I'm going to have to wait until his episode. And then I think it was like episode 4 or 5 when he shows up. And that is King Dice. Do you know who King Dice is?
In the show, yes. If you're asking me who voiced him, I did not pick up on.
Okay. He is an improv master. He was on a show called Whose Line Is It Anyways? He was actually a regular. He was one of the main regular cast.
So, I mean, like, my brain is instantly going between each one, but I have to re-listen to his voice to be identify. Who is it?
It is Wayne Brady. Wayne Brady plays King Dice.
Okay. That makes sense. My brain, whenever you said like the different voice actors, Wayne Brady was the first one that came to my mind. And the reason why is because of all the original cast, Wayne Brady's the only one who's like constantly popping up in different media types. The other group, like Brian Stiles and them, they're very like set in what they've done with their life, and they're kind of like done with everything else, like with Whose Line. Wayne Brady has jumped all over the place, and I could see it. But I could also seen you being like, it was Greg Bruce, who is known to do like musical numbers and everything like that, because he does a lot of the musical stuff for the what do you call it, the Nightmare Before Christmas special stuff. I'm not sure if he was part of the original cast, but he was definitely he's one of the extra people who will join them on the concerts to help them sing stuff. So like I wasn't sure, so I'm like, just tell me, I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, Wayne Brady was on here. I was really excited for it. And then season 2 came out, and season 2, there is someone that you know, which instantly when this woman comes on and starts talking, you'll know who it is because she has such a unique voice. Because I didn't even know that this person was in season 2, and then I watched it and I was
Shaw?
like,
she's the one person that I can think
you're
of who has
you're
the
very
most,
close. You're
like,
very
unique
close.
voice. Anytime Christian Shaw speaks, I'm instantly like, I know.
Yeah,
I know who that is.
Yeah.
I will say that one of the characters, I recognized the voice, but I had to look up who they were. The person who played Chalice, I recognized her voice as Vicky from no, Molly, no. Don't touch that. I don't want you to do anything wrong. Sorry. You're good. You can lay down. She was laying down on my Logitech pad, which is microed to different buttons. So she laid down and I instantly went, oh no, what if she hits something that activates something I don't know about? So I had to get her off of that. But no, the person who voices Chalice voices a lot of different characters from like Nickelodeon and things like that.
Yeah,
and
she
I
was
recognized
also
her Vicky.
in Invincible. She was Beast Girl.
Who? Oh, Beast Girl. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the one that transforms. Yeah, she was in that, and then I'm trying to think what was the other one she was in that I knew her from.
She's Velma, not Velma. Daphne. From
She's
Scooby-Doo.
Daphne.
She's also.
I'm trying to think.
There was something else that she was in.
Oh, she was also she played Catwoman in the Arkham series video games.
Oh, I never played those, so that I never did, and now I don't want to because of how they ended the series of that. But we can talk about that some other day.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But yeah, because she's been in a lot. She's a big voice actor. Because when I heard her voice for the first time, I was like, I remember her. I was like, she sounds like the girl from Invincible. I was like, she sounds like Beast Girl. And then like later on, I was like, that's her. Okay. Because Invincible, there's like multiple people I know that are voice actors for that show.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's only 3 that I remember, but I know that they had a pretty all-star cast of Invincible. Yeah. No, it was just fine whenever I heard her voice. I'm like, she sounds familiar, but I can't peg where I know her from, and that's when I looked her up. So I was like, oh, okay, I do know her. I've watched her in other things. She just unfortunately was one of those people that I couldn't instantly like catch. Like, that's Keith David, like
You could be like, hey, that's Keith David, because Keith
David could whisper in my ear and I would know it's him. Like, I'm like, oh. But there's other people that I can't. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting show. I never played the game, so I don't actually know how much this even follows slightly what the game's about. To my understanding, what I thought the game was about. This is completely based upon what I know / of the very short time I played the game, because it was, like you said, Dark Souls. Like it was just a challenging bullet hell game.
Yeah.
And I very much did not. I didn't enjoy the type of game that much, mainly because you couldn't see enemies' healths. Like when you got the bosses, you couldn't see their boss fights. So like, I just was like very upset about it, and I was like, nah, man, I'm not about this. I like seeing the health bars of like the big bullet hell bosses, so I could choose to be dumber or quicker,
Yeah.
But in that game, you didn't really do it, and I kind of just lost the vibe of it because I kept dying. because I'm not good enough to play the game, and I accepted that.
Mm.
But all I basically understood about the game is like Cuphead lost his soul to the devil, and the devil made him go and collect other souls to free himself. That
Yeah.
was my understanding of what was happening, and that was all you needed to play the game, like to go the game. Like each boss was you going there to kill them, to collect their soul, to get to the devil, so that way you could escape the contract you had.
Yeah.
This show slightly does that in the form of Cuphead owes the devil his soul because he played a game, which doesn't make sense, but played a game after winning thousands and thousands of times, lost one time, and now he owes the devil his soul, and the devil just can't collect because he's incompetent, and Cuphead gets lucky. And it's a very Luigi Mario situation where Mario is kind of useless and Luigi does everything, but Luigi gets none of the credit. Because it's like what's that game? Luigi Mansion. Like Mario's captured, and then Luigi does all this work to get Mario back, gets no recognition for it.
Yep.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, poor Luigi.
And
but yeah, no.
Even the fact that Cupman can't get taken by the devil because Mugman made him a sweater from invisible yarn. Like, and then instantly Cuphead's like, I want to take off this sweater, it's too much. It's like, you're a freaking idiot, dude.
Yep, he's goofy. He's a goofy one. I think see, what's really weird about the show is like they don't promote it as much. I don't see it a lot like promoted. Like for instance, I didn't even know season 3 was out until like about 2 months ago. It just like showed up on my Netflix. I was like, huh. And it was when we were doing Scott Pilgrim, and I was like, oh, well, I'll watch it since I'm here because I
must have its audience. That's what it has to be. Is like there's just an audience that enjoy it. Because here's the thing, I think this show was very much aimed towards children.
Yeah, it was.
Because that's the same thing with like, did I ever have you watch or be aware of the TV show on Netflix called Hilda?
No, I don't think so.
To me, it's the British version of Gravity Falls if Gravity Falls got rid of all of its like mature based stuff and it's just kid based. It's very kiddie, and I tell people, I'm like, if you have younger kids, this is a great show to get them into this type of style before you transfer them over to Gravity Falls for that big hit home, right? Because it's about like this girl who has this little deer fox thing, and like outside of her house and everything, it's like a mystical world. There's like little elves that she can see that no one else can see. There's rock trolls, things like that all over the place. And season 1 came out, and I watched it, and I was like, this is a great show to watch with a kid. Very much how I kind of view Cuphead, right? And then I heard nothing of it ever again, even though it was on my watch list. And then when we went to do Scott Pilgrim or whatever, I saw, oh, there's another season to it. It was never marketed. Because I think it was marketed to kids, and if I would probably switch over to the Netflix kid account, it would probably then be marketed. And that's what I think probably happens with the Cuphead show, is that if you transfer to the kids, it would then transfer, and like you would see trailers for Cuphead over there.
Yeah, I could see that. Probably.
That's just my only rationalization that I could figure out. That doesn't mean it's true. That's just why I assume, because I would assume if I watch something and Netflix is like, hey, he watched this, maybe he wants to know about the next season that just dropped.
Nothing.
I wouldn't be surprised if one day I find out that freaking Bee and Puppycat has season 2 and I just never knew for like months. I'd be devastated.
Oh man, no, but I enjoy Cuphead. It is a childish show. I totally agree with that. It is aimed towards children. You can tell, just because how the goofiness is.
Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't gonna.
They have very child antics.
Yeah, it's kind of like the only reason I kept watching it was because I had nothing to watch at the time. But later on, I think that season 2 and season 3 became like really good. I do enjoy episodic stuff. For a long time, I didn't. Like, I just wasn't a fan of it at all.
Mhm.
But I like shows now like that. So
I
like
I like episodic shows that push a narrative, and
mhm.
that's why I think I had trouble with the first couple episodes of Cuphead, because
Yeah.
I felt like they were just self-contained things.
Yeah.
And then the last, like, I would say 4 episodes, maybe, basically after the King Dice episode,
Yeah.
it became more like the devil's trying to collect the soul, and each episode is about him trying to collect and
Mhm.
figure out something. And then I was shocked how it ended this season. I laughed at the ending, actually. But like that's how it is. I very much, I'm giving the show a pass, and I'm like willing and wanting to continue watching, because that's the same issue that I have with Steven Universe, right? Like, anytime I made people watch Steven, you're like, whenever I made you watch Steven Universe, I told you that I'm like, the first many episodes is just episodic child, like, crazy fantasy.
Yeah.
And it's not until around episode 50, whenever the gems start coming in to like our world gems come in, that the story becomes like an overtelling thing.
This
And
is
I'm like,
exactly
once that
what
happens, it makes it like a very fun and interesting watch. And that's exactly how I felt watching those episodes. I'm like, okay, there's now a story, there's things happening, it's going. Even when Chalice shows up, it's like, hey, it's continuing, because the devil's still upset that he doesn't have his soul, and now the kids are going around doing like stupid things again. That's them.
Yep.
They just love stupid stuff.
Yep. And the ending of this show is pretty if I remember,
Ending of this season, yeah.
was it the jail?
Cuphead, yeah, they just go straight to
Yeah.
jail,
Yeah.
and that's how it ends. And I'm just like, oh, that's like the second to last episode. And it's like, no, that's the ending of season 1.
That's season
And I was
1.
like, okay,
Yeah.
props to them for just choosing to end it on such a note
And then
that Cuphead.
Yeah, and we get to see Chalice, like she has like some type of powers.
Yeah,
like,
she can become a ghost and like
Yeah,
go
she
through
can
walls.
do the ghost thing.
Which I'm sure
Um,
Cupheads can do that too. What are they called? Like, what would be their family name? Because you have Cuphead and you have Mug Boy or whatever.
Mugman.
And then you have
Elder Kettle.
Kettle. They're not all cups. Like,
Yeah, they're not. They're not all cops.
are they, like, I wish that to me is like they have to release a name for them, like the Porcelain Family or something like that. If they did that, it would make sense, right? Like, oh, they're all porcelain.
Yeah.
But
Now there is one episode that I really care about this season, and that is the episode. Like, I love the King Dice episode. That's phenomenal. I love it.
mhm.
I think Wayne Brady does great as King Dice, but the Halloween episode with
Which
the
one?
skeletons.
I felt like 2 of them could have been labeled as Halloween episodes.
The one where they walk through the graveyard.
The graveyard
after
itself, yeah.
I loved one of the best scenes in that whole episode is the part with all the skeletons.
Mhm.
Where it was like all this chatter, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like,
He's
"I'm
like,
not doing
stop
anything."
chattering your teeth.
Your
It's like,
teeth.
I'm not chattering my teeth, and it goes out. You know what was going through my brain during that scene?
What?
When the skeleton blows out his candle, my brain's like, it doesn't have lips to be able to like create a blowing effect.
It's goofy.
But then like I realized that was my adult brain making sense of a
Mhm.
child show, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah, stop it.
that's it's okay. See, for me, you know what I thought was probably the most like I guess shocking would be the term, was when the pig dude had the sudden visualization of just straight up smashing their heads in, and they just get shattered and drop over dead for like a solid 5-10 seconds, and then it snaps to reality. And when that happened, I was like, yo, that's actually kind of like insanely grotesque if you think
Yeah.
about it, right? Like, as a kid, seeing like a character just head basically get like blown up, and then instead of blood, it's like white milk everywhere.
Yeah.
Your brain instantly goes like, "Oh, this is like traumatizing almost."
Or then like a baby beating up Elder Kettle. Like,
No, that was funny. The baby episode. You know what that baby episode? Okay? Hold up. No, I have to talk about this. You just awoken something in my brain. That first episode. If you didn't sit there and just say this is a ripoff of Who Framed Roger Rabbit's opening show, you're too old, or you're too young, right? Because the whole thing with the baby and then get introducing, my brain instantly went like, this baby reminds me of the baby from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And then the whole show begins with the baby doing like crazy, stupid stuff, and I'm like, this is literally what the baby was in that cartoon in the very beginning.
They actually, what's really cool, little beaten off the path with that cartoon. Actually, they actually animated that cartoon
fully.
Yeah, like they actually did a couple of them. You can find them on Disney Plus because Disney now owns Roger Rabbit. Because it was a mix between Warner Brothers and Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it was a third party.
Warner Brothers and Disney. Yeah, because it was the only time that Warner Brothers and Disney characters were in a show together.
Classic Disney.
Except that movie scared me because of Christopher Lloyd. I was a kid.
That movie never scared me. I liked it a lot. I always wanted to keep watching it. Then again, I was also little and didn't understand the implication of the death scenes of the pianos. I didn't understand what was happening there. I just thought to myself, like, they're investigating a crime of some sort. I didn't put two and two together as a small child that piano's straight up on that dude's head. Like,
yep, the cartoon killed him.
Yeah,
legitly killed him.
Yeah, and it was the same cartoon that killed his brher by dropping a piano on his head.
Remember, Eddie,
when I killed your brother, I talked just like this.
Oh yeah, it's good. I can't wait for season 2 though. Like, I've been really excited ever since like we were gonna do a different show like before Cuphead. Like, there was something that I wanted to watch, which we'll get around to because that series is ending soon. So like, I want to like do all that together.
Okay.
But the thing is I forgot in season 2 there is someone that you're really going to like. They're only one episode and they play like a character that they would play. You're like, yep, of course that person would play that character. And I know you're gonna like know instantly once she starts talking. So, you know, and Kristen Shaw was a really good answer.
She's up there with Keith David as instantly noticeable on voicing, right?
Yeah,
like Keith David has that irreplaceable like deeper voice that I love, and Kristen Shaw has that inescapable higher pitch voice that I enjoy too. Yeah. So those were my two main ones. The whatever it could be, I'm like, okay, I'll have to see what Austin thinks I could instantly get. Yeah. If it just shows out to be Johnny Amabash, I'll be like, huh, he's right, but I'm disappointed still.
No, she's pretty distinctful. I only think you only know her from one of her works. I don't think that you know her from anything else. But we'll see. We'll see. And now you'll know her for Cuphead too. So like, you know, but yeah, and I think that's actually my favorite episode. This next season, like I think you'll really enjoy. I think you'll really enjoy season 2 because I think that they finally like get into mold, like a good like storytelling. Like they kind of get that flow going, and I think they were just trying like in first one see how it worked, and they were trying to just be episodic kids shows. And the second one's the same thing, but it's more of like there's an overarching story about like, you know, who Chalice is and why is she doing this stuff, and like, you know, what are we trying to do here to make sure, like they kind of like started realizing they're like, yeah, we got to figure out a story, so people want to keep coming back and watching it, because you know, just the normal episodic things where it's like the devil bad, he's gonna come after him. I call it the Smallville syndrome. Just because Smallville was always like that thing where it's like who's the bad guy that shows up. That
actually stems way farther back, and it's a terminology called the monster of the week, right?
Yeah,
I think it's the same thing as Star Trek also did it too. Like it's a very common thing in episodic episodes, because they're like they have to keep introducing villains every week. So that way the heroes can prevail and over again. And then it just became a very blanketed, like, all right, who's the monster of the week? Which very much the first like 5 episodes were. The later episodes were still kind of that way, but they kind of like connected with each other, which made it a lot more tangible in my brain. But I still enjoyed it. Like I still liked the show. I thought it was fun. If like one of our nephews want to watch it, I'm like, sure, let's pop that baby on.
Well, you know, and like I know you like animation. Like it was something that was like, hey, you know, we're coming off of Has Been. That'd be kind of cool to do Cuphead. You know, I've been wanting to do Cuphead for a while. I was like, this would be perfect. Like moving on to it, you know.
It's crazy, man. It's our second show with the devil being the main character.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
So this devil is really weird. Though I do like the scene where he like forcibly transforms multiple times over and over and over again. That was a pretty cool animation cell.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I will say about this show that I realized is that the game itself was based upon the rubber band animation style where they like bounce like Steamboat Willie, right? This show does not do that at all.
The only people that do that is like the two toads. Actually,
not even that. Like the rubber band AI, you normally see it in like the animation, like when they walk, like in the opening bit when they're walking down the
like looking for fun. Yeah,
that. Yeah. Like there's no bouncing in it. It's just very like 60s animation. Like I would expect there to be a little more bouncing because that's what it was based on. But I mean, it's still fine. Like it's very well done animation in my opinion.
Yeah,
like it's pretty top of the line stuff.
But yeah,
not terrible.
Well, I'm glad. I think that you'll like season 2 a lot, and season 3. There's a couple episodes in season 3 that had me rolling on the floor. There's a Christmas special in season 3. It's like around the time that I watched it, it was Christmas time, and I was like, "This is perfect." I was like, "This worked out just fine." So,
one thing I do want to make a note about that I found the joke funny, but the implications I don't know if they were trying to say something or not. But whenever Elder Kettle fixed their handlebars, did you catch the like little joke that was in the scene that they don't ever address? So like when he's putting away the glue and the kids wake up and they're like, oh, look at our manhandles, blah 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 blah, he throws the glue into the closet. In the closet is a fairy outfit, like a little dress up fairy, and the joke is supposed to be he dressed up to do this. But the implication that's kind of funny that as an adult you're kind of thinking about is, one, why does he have a fairy suit? And two, why did he dress up for something that the kids wouldn't be awake for? He just owns a fairy costume in his house for no reason. And that was a funny thing that I saw, and I'm like, that will never be explained.
Never.
If it is explained, I would be amazed. I'm pretty sure that was just meant to be a single gag joke for like people who are observant. And I was like, what? This guy has a full fairy costume in his thing, and he thinks the glue he has in his hand will implicate him more than the fairy outfit. Okay. But hey, that's the type of humor, like as a adult watching more of a kid's show, I enjoy. Like Gravity Falls has that all over the place. There was a couple times in Gravity Falls. Well, there's a lot of time in Gravity Falls where they say things that only adults would get. In this show, they do that too, but it's much more tame and like simplistic.
Yeah.
We'll see how the rest of the seasons go. I'm excited to watch it. I'm cool with it. Enjoy it. All right, Austin. Do you have anything else you want to say about Cuphead season 1?
No, I'm glad that you're liking it, and I hope you like season 2 because I love season 2. So.
All right. Also, the fact that every episode's only 15 minutes is fantastic.
Yes.
I flew through them, especially since whenever it comes to Netflix shows, I tend to watch them at like 25% increased speed. So the pacing was pretty perfect for that. So yeah. All right, Austin. I think that basically does it on this episode of Bros and Shows. Pretty solid, pretty good. Anyways, Austin, thank you so much for joining us on this episode, as you always do. I appreciate you. And thank you all so much for stopping by. And thank you all so much for tuning in.